Good morning. I'm glad to be here with you this morning. And it's a very beautiful Wednesday morning here. Lots of light, and the light is really extending. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to just ask us to sit in Sukhasana, or cross-legged position on the floor, and just breathe easily. Just feel, you can feel the air coming in through your nostrils and filling up. You can put your hands on the side of your chest if you like, and just feel the lovely opening in there. And I'm going to read a poem, just an excerpt from a poem by Karen Solie, which is quite a serious poem. It's called Bitumen. She was born in Saskatchewan, and she's a really brilliant Canadian poet who's won many prizes. And she was writer in residence here at one point. So I saw her coming to some understanding of the life here in Alberta. And she writes in Bitumen a poem about many different sort of environmental issues across Canada. But this is the last stanza of it. It's difficult to imagine everyone saved. It's unaffordable. Waves disproportionate, organized in depth, panic modulating the speaking voice. The situation so harshly primary and not beautiful when you don't go to visit the seaside, but the seaside visits you rudely, breaks in through the basement, ascends stairs to your bedroom. You can't think of it generally then. The constitution of things is accustomed to hiding. Rearrangement will not suit us. Certain low-lying river deltas, island states, coastal regions, floodwaters receding in measures, like all we haven't seen the last of, reveal in stagnancies and bloat what's altered. An avernal exhalation, as avernal exhalations of minds and flares are altered, but don't disappear. Still, iceberg season is spectacular this year, worth the trip, to photograph in evening ourselves before the abundance when a flame in light that dissolves what it illuminates, water climbs its own red walls, vermilion in the furnaces. So that's kind of cautionary poem. And I also wanted to read something that is really a way forward, because I found it quite difficult with the election in Alberta that promises really chaos. So I'm reading from Pema Chodron's When Things Fall Apart, Hard Advice for Difficult Times. And these are three very practical ways. This is Pema Chodron. These are three very practical ways to work with chaos. No struggle, poison as medicine, and regarding everything that arises as the manifestation of wisdom. First, we can train in letting the storylines go. Slow down enough to just be present. Let go of the multitude of judgments and schemes and stop struggling. Second, we can use every day of our lives to take a different attitude towards suffering. Instead of pushing it away, we can breathe it in with the wish that everyone could stop hurting, with the wish that people everywhere could experience contentment in their hearts. We could transform pain into joy. Third, we can acknowledge that suffering exists, that darkness exists, the chaos in here and the chaos out there is basic energy, the play of wisdom. Whether we regard our situation as heaven or as hell depends on our perception. Finally, couldn't we just relax and lighten up? When we wake up in the morning, we can dedicate our day to learning how to do this. We can cultivate a sense of humor and practice giving ourselves a break. Every time we sit down to meditate, we can think of it as training to lighten up, to have a sense of humor, to relax. As one student said, lower your standards and relax at it as it is. So that's my plan at this point. Lower my standards and relax as it is. So we're going to begin just on our backs with our knees up, And we're going to do a series of poses and hold them for a few moments. This is going to be held for 2 or 3 breaths. So we're just going to lie on our box, start very easily relaxing here, and lift our hips up and roll and drop our legs over to one side. Keeping both arms on the ground, we can look to the opposite arm and just feel a really lovely stretch here. And we're just going to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. And we're going to just scoot over to the other side, lift our hips up and center ourselves again, and then lift our hips up and drop and lay on our right side, dropping our legs, our knees to the right. And this is just an initial, and we can turn our head if we want and look the other way. And we're going to just come up into the center ourselves again, and we're going to just roll up here onto our knees, hands and knees. We're going to do a few more exercises, asanas, movements, shapes to really get our body warm and limber. So we're just going to go into cow, and we can say moo, or we can say hello, we can say help. And then we're going to move into cat. Exhale. Exhale in cat, and inhale in cow when we've got our chest expanded here and our back arched. And we're exhaling here in cat and rounding our back, and inhaling again and exhaling and inhaling, exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. And on the next, we're going to inhale, and then on the next exhalation, we're going to press into our toes and shift back into a downward dog. So we're just going to lift our legs up and move into a downward dog. Now, you can scoot your legs back a bit, your feet back a bit, if that feels good. And we can keep our legs bent because this is our first downward dog. And we don't really want to overstretch anything. So we're just going to, I'm just kind of walking my feet out, and my toes, I have old toes, and they really require a lot of care. So every day I do toe exercises just to keep them in tip-top form for the rest of my life. And if you're younger, you might start your toe exercises early. Then you'll have no problems with your toes when you're older. Okay, and we're just going to breathe here, inhaling and exhaling in downward dog. If you get tired, you can come down into child's pose, Balasana. And we're just going to stay here again. Now we're going to come down into tabletop again, and just arch up and down, arch up and down. And then we're going to come back into child's pose. And you can widen your knees if it's more comfortable for you. And we're stretching our arms out here just in front of us. We're imagining that our shoulders are actually moving down our back and into our back as we raise our arms up above us on the mat. And we're going to just move our fingers across
to the right, and stretch out over our right leg in child's pose. And we're just breathing evenly here. We're working to calm ourselves, to give us a sense of breathing in good spirits and exhaling whatever it is that's bothering us as we stretch out over our right leg here. And now we're going to move back over towards our left. And once again, we're breathing in thoughts of flowers and birds singing on Marianne's porch. And we're just feeling a sense of release coming over us as we begin our practice. Our body is loosening up and we're stretching out again in Balasana, child's pose here. And then we're going to move up onto our knees, and we're going to sit up on our knees and just hands on hips, and see if we can just stand up. If that's too hard, you can find your way to your feet however you like. And we're going to do Warrior 2 now, which will help us feel a bit of energy. We're going to do some standing poses now. We're moving right into them without, we're going to do sun salutation a bit later. So I'm just standing at the front of my mat here, and I'm going to step back with my left foot about 3 or 4 feet, well, or maybe a leg length, depending on the length of your leg. And then I'm just turning my body to the long side of my mat and moving my foot out a little bit because I need a bit of a longer stretch here. And then I'm bending my front knee. I've just got my hands on my hips, and my back foot is on the diagonal in a comfortable position for you. And I'm raising my arms up and really feeling the beautiful stretching of my body here in so many different directions. Yoga is so much about oppositional forces. So we feel the bottom half of our body descending, the opening up of our thighs as they rotate, external rotation here. And our arms are stretching out, and I like to wiggle my fingers to feel the energy moving out my fingers for a moment. And then you feel lifted up from the center here. And you can really work on just feeling the beautiful energy of this pose that's been practiced for many, many years by many millions of people. And I just feel, and you want to feel a lift in your chest here. And now I'm going to just move into side angle pose by just stretching out this arm, my right arm here, over top of my thigh. And I'm just going to rest it here and feel the turning of my chest up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to raise my arm up here and then drop it down. But right beside behind my back on the sacrum, I've got the back of my hand on my sacrum here. And if you feel like it, you can come down further. You could have a block here, right here, or you can leave your hand on your thigh and move your arm over top so that you are on a diagonal here. And you're pressing into the outer edge of your back foot and breathing easily here, if you can. And you can turn and look up. The drishti, or the gaze, is really helpful in yoga in focusing your attention. So here I'm looking up towards my hand. And this gives my body another little stretch. And now I'm going to just push up with my leg and come up into triangle pose. And you might want to bring your back foot in a bit and stretch out here onto you're dropping your hand onto your shin and raising your arm up. And you're feeling here, the hinge is right at the hip here. And you're feeling a lengthening between your ribs and your hip on both sides of your body. So you need to extend the
lower torso, lower side of the torso, as well as the upper, and you can look up here. And we're just breathing here. We'll take, say, 5 more breaths. And the holding of the poses is intended to allow our bodies to settle in and to extend itself. So this is a very active pose. We're not resting here. We're actually really feeling that we're pressing into our feet, all parts of our feet that are on the ground. We're lifting our arches. It ignites the posture, and we're really opening up our chest, the ceiling. And now we're going to just rotate up and turn our foot out toward, so that we're facing the long side of the mat. And we're just going to put our hands on our hip. And once again, we're going to use that to help us locate ourselves as we go down to the ground. Now here you can have blocks. I'll just get the blocks to show you if you need them. And this can help you. You can put them at whatever height is helpful to you. And if you go down to this posture, this position, that's perfectly fine. There's no right way to do this. It's where your body finds itself. And you can go down further, or down here, or you can put your hands on the ground. And we're going to do a few little stretches here. So you can extend your hands out if you like, so that your hands are flat on the ground in front of you. And you really are trying to work your feet so that you're lifting the arches of your feet. You can lift your toes up if you like, and you are straightening your legs. Here you can, if you like, walk your hands over towards the left foot here. You can, if you're able to, you can hold on to your ankle and use that, bend your elbows to draw you further into the posture, or you can just keep your hands on the floor. You can still keep your hands on the block if you like. You can move the blocks over towards the left if you have the inclination. And now we're going to walk over to the other side, and I'm going to hold on to my ankles here, but you can do whatever you like. And I'm going to just bend my elbows and use that to draw myself further into my leg, my chest, and my nose can touch my knees now. It's taken a long time. All right. And now we're going to come back here. All right. And I'm going to put my hands flat on the ground beneath me, on the same line as my feet. And I'm just going to see if I can drop my head down. I can't really do that, but my friend Habib is excellent at doing headstands from here. And I am determined before I turn 75 that I'm going to be able to put my head down and then lift my legs up into a tripod headstand. That's my goal. All right. And now you can come up. You can wiggle your feet back in if you like. And we're just going to come up with our, there we go, tip up, so that we're upright again. And we're moving now to the other side, to Virabhadrasana II, which is Warrior II. We're extending our feet out here, and we are bending our left knee and finding a way, a good distance, usually a leg length, depending on how long your legs are, and lifting our arms up and just breathing here. Once again, feeling the inner edge of the arches rise up. We can lift our toes up. That gives us, and we can drop down a little bit more. This should be right angle. These should be moving out. And we're inhaling and exhaling. We're feeling the beauty of the breath, whether we are in this posture or we're doing some modified version of something or other, to just give our bodies an awakening moment
in the day. And we're going to extend ourselves out towards the left, drop our hand down here, or wherever you feel like it, and extend our arm up above. And we're turning our chest out. We're feeling our breath opening out our side body as we open our chest to the ceiling or the sky. I have to say, while we're in this posture, opening ourselves to the sky, that yesterday there was a beautiful big double rainbow here in Edmonton, which voted NDP. And I thought, we've just elected in the province a government which has demonstrated their homophobia over and over again. And the sky has now delivered the most gorgeous double rainbow over the city, where now there was not one seat given to the Conservative Party. So I thought, oh, that's a lovely omen. It really cheered me up. Okay, and now we're going to come up, back into Warrior Two, and then we're going to I'm moving my feet in a bit to Trikonasana just a little bit, and we're extending once again with a straight leg and dropping our hand down and lifting our other arm up and looking up. Now, we're not symmetrical, we're not machines, and so I really have to make sure that my hand is not too far to the ground, or I'm not really in a very good pose to breathe properly. So you find the space that makes you feel good. And we're breathing here, taking our time. This helps with isometric effects in the muscles, holding it. It's a very good way to develop our body to be more flexible and more fluent in everyday functional movement. Okay, now we're going to lift up, and I'm just going to wiggle my feet in here, and I'm going to lower down in Balasana, into Balasana, which is a pose that is a squat. If you live in countries where they have squat toilets, you have excellent squatting machinery in your body. We don't have that. But I'm just going to sit down here and put my hands in front of my knees. Now I have to wiggle my knees out a bit because I'm not really very good at Balasana, and then I'm going to just push into my legs with my elbows and sit here for a moment. Breathing, breathing, breathing. If this is uncomfortable, just sit on your bottom and cross your legs and just breathe. And now I'm going to just push into the floor and press up into forward fold. And I'm holding onto my toes. You can do whatever you like. Now I'm going to just come up and stand and work on tree for a moment, a little bit of a balancing pose. And here you can, we might do a little bit of eagle too, but here we're just going to lift our, I'm of an age where balance is really just much harder for me. So my teacher, Pat Linford at Octopus, told me about an exercise that I'm going to do. She said, do this every day. So I just thought for some of us, this is a really good exercise to stand on a block and just lower and lift one foot. It just, because she said, one of the problems we have is we don't have really well-developed outer glutes, and the tree pose and these balances require really good outer glutes. So this really helps you. So I thought I would show you this, and then you too can develop excellent outer glutes, and it can help you do your balancing poses. So you're supposed to keep this foot off the ground, but it's quite difficult. So and then now I'm going to do the other side. And just lift and lower down. Oops, but it is quite hard to do this, but and pull in with your glute here. This is really supposed to help you develop your balance as we age and lose it. Okay, we gain many things as we age, but we do tend to lose our balance. All right, so now I'm going to try 3 and see how it goes. So I'm just lifting my right knee up and then moving it out and back, lifting it up, out and back. And then I'm going to bring my foot in where it wants to sit. Now, ideally, you don't use your hand, you just bring it in. But I'm using my hand, I would not recommend it. And I'm holding here, I'm moving my left glute, I'm really holding my left glute and pressing in with my foot so that I feel there. And now you can come down. And I'm going to try it on the other side now. Once again, we have different sides. I happen to have broken both ankles. One of them healed perfectly and the other one is kind of a mess. So, so you may have a disequilibrium in your body, but that's okay. We've just gathered many different experiences in our life, and we just learn to live with them and to integrate them into our being. All right, and now we're going to bring our left leg into our, there we go, and stand in our tree. And pull in, we're feeling once again, the oppositional force of our right glute moving in and our left foot pressing in. And they are creating, the strength to stand here. Oopsie, I'm very tippy this morning. You'll maybe be different than I am. Okay, I'm coming down. All right. So we're going to stand at the front of our mat. We're going to do just a sun salutation, just to see how our body is. And then we're going to move down. Right. We're going to lift up, standing, and look up, arms up, inhaling, and then exhaling over. And then we're going to lift halfway up, inhaling, and then exhaling. We're going to go back into a plank. And here we're going to stay here if we can. Our hands should be underneath our shoulders. We should be pressing into our hands, feeling a tremendous amount of strength. The inside of our elbows can be looking at each other, and we're pressing into our feet and trying not to drop our head so that our body is hopefully in a line. I don't know how mine is doing, but hopefully it's in a line. And now we're going to go, we can go chaturanga or we can go knees, chest, chin. So you decide what you want to do. You can go down in chaturanga, that is into a kind of push up to the ground, or you can go knees, chest, chin. And you can stay here for a moment and feel the arch in your back, or you can come up into a baby cobra. Then we're going to push back into a downward dog and see how this dog feels in comparison with the one we did at the beginning of the class. Perhaps this is a very good position for you now. Just it will take 5 breaths here. Inhaling and inhaling. And inhaling.
and inhaling. And now we're going to look up and walk towards the front of our mat. And just suspend ourselves in a forward fold for a moment. We can hook our elbows here and feel the weight of our elbows, giving a kind of passive stretch to this posture. You want to feel in this forward fold that the energy is moving up the back of your leg and your sit bones are moving up towards the ceiling. Your feet are firmly planted on the ground. So we have the moving up of your sit bones, the moving down in your feet, and the upper part of your body is just relaxed in this suspended moment in time. And we're going to put our hands on our hips, and you can roll up if it's easier for you, or we're going to just tip our bodies up. Now I'm just swinging my arms around here just to give myself some movement in the middle of the class and feel the opening in my shoulders and in my arms. Okay, we're going to go back and do a few more sun salutations. Lift up, look up, inhale, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, exhale, back, right knee down, exhaling, and then inhaling, arms up, exhaling, foot back into a plank. And now we're going to lower down in chaturanga, or knees just chin, whatever feels comfortable. And we can come up into a low cobra, or we can come all the way up into a downward dog. We don't have any pain in our back at all. We feel in our lumbar region, we feel an opening in our chest, and we are extending out into the heels of our feet and into our hands. Then we're tipping up into downward dog, and we are feeling that the energy once again moving into your hands, into your feet. It's not necessary for your heels to come down. In fact, you can pedal your feet out a little bit here if you like. Now we're going to raise our right leg up and just raise it up and then bend the knee. Feel your heel drop towards your left buttock, your right heel falling, and imagine that your hips are stacked one on top of another. You can feel the heat. I'm feeling a bit warm here. And now you can extend your leg out, and you can put it down if you're tired, or you can bend your knee and you can bring it in to your opposite elbow and touch it, and then press it out. And then bring it in to the center, and then press it out. Extend it out, and then bring it into your right elbow, and then extend it out. And now I'm going to drop my foot down here, and I'm just going to rest in downward dog for a moment. If you're tired, please do move into child's pose for a moment. If you want to build some heat, we're going to just keep on going. Okay, we're going to raise our left leg up, and we're going to bend our knee, drop our foot towards our buttock, and see if we can stack our hips one on top of the other. We should feel that our weight in our arms is balanced, so we're not really lifting up here. Now we could do something, we could drop our leg back into a wild thing if we feel like it. Why don't we do that? Just drop our leg back to the floor and lift our arm up. Our weight is on our back foot and on the outer edge of our front foot. And we're just stretching up here. This is a lovely pose. And now we find our hand finds the floor. We lift our leg up and we can just bring it down for a moment because we're tired. And we'll rest here. Now we're going to lift our left leg up, bring it in to the opposite elbow, and then press it out. Bring it into the center, and then press it out. Bring it into the right, and press it out. And then we're going to put our feet down. And I think I'm just going to come down into child's pose because it's very tiring here. There we go. Oh, I'm breathing here. I feel a tremendous, I think it's Agni who is the fiery one in Hindu mythology. A lot of fire in me, a lot of heat. Tapas, the heat that rises. Now we're going to go back into downward dog and lift our left leg up, bring it between our hands, come into a forward fold, exhaling here, exhaling, and we're going to inhale all the way up. And we're just going to do one last sun salutation on our left side, just to balance our body out. Okay, inhale up, exhale. Inhale halfway up, exhale. Extend our left leg back, drop our knee, and inhale as we rise up. Exhale, we're going to move back into a plank. We're going to hold it for a moment, feel the strength in our body, and then we're going to lower down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And we can come up into, if we like, a small cobra, or we can tip up into our upward dog here, pressing into our feet and inhaling and exhaling. And we feel we're pulling our belly button into our spine here and pressing out through our feet, strengthening and straightening our legs, opening our chest. Now we're moving back into downward dog again. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here. In downward dog once more. We should feel very comfortable in this position at this point in our class. And we're going to lift our left leg up and bring it forward between our feet. And bring our right leg forward and suspend ourselves over in a forward fold. And now we're going to come all the way up, looking up, and just breathing into Bidalasana for a moment. And I'm just going to move my head from side to side here. And drop my chin to my chest and lift it up. Drop my chin to my chest and lift it up. Drop my chin to my chest, up. And once again, I'm looking to the right over my shoulder. And then I'm looking to the left over my shoulder. And then to the right. And to the left. Okay, and I'm just going to stretch my fingers out here
And really feel like I'm pushing with straight fingers and pushing with my hands. So I'm flicking my thumb really, and really releasing my fingers here, getting all of the strain and stress out of my hands. It's a really beautiful feeling. And we can shake our hands like Marianne is. And we can give ourselves a whole shake, whether we're on the ground or up, we can just shake our body out. It gives our adrenal glands a little opening for the day. Okay, now we're going to go down onto our stomachs now. So we're just going to, you can go down however you like. I'm just going to go down like this onto my stomach. And we're going to do a few locusts, a few back bends. So here we are. We're forehead on the floor. And we are just going to extend our arms out, the back of our hands on the floor. We're lifting our shoulders up, and then our head, and then our chest, and then our arms. So we're suspended here, feeling a lovely back bend. We're strengthening our back. This is excellent work for many kinds of everyday movements. And then we're going to roll down and rest here. Now we're going to do this one more time. Our shoulders are coming up, and then our head, and then our chest, and then our arms. And if you feel like it, you can stretch your toes out and lift your legs out, up from your thighs. So we're really stretching. And all the time we're breathing a life force into us, expelling all the toxic thoughts and feelings that we have inside of us as we exhale. And now we're going to come down. And now we're going to work towards a bow. And in this, we're going to just lift our left leg, bend our left knee, and we can hang on to our left foot. And then we can stretch our foot out and feel that open up the left side of our body as we press our pelvis into the ground. And we can really feel that beautiful opening. And we can then bring our foot to our buttock and stretch it and then extend that. And we'll work on the right side. We'll bend our right knee, reach our hand back to hold onto our foot, and we'll extend our foot out, pressing our pelvis into the ground and extending our foot back to open up our shoulder. And now we draw our foot back down to our buttock and extend it out. Okay, now we're going to, for those of us who can do, you can do that again, just one foot at a time, or you can try both feet holding onto your ankle here and feeling the chest. Once again, pressing the pelvis into the ground. We shouldn't feel anything in our lower back. And extending our feet out. And really feeling that beautiful long extension and the stretching in our shoulders as we breathe, or we try to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And now we're going to just bring our feet back to our buttocks and stretch our legs out. We can make a pillow with our hands and put our face, our cheek on our hands for a moment and just rest here. Very nice. Now we're going to come back into Alice pose for a moment of rest. Stretching our hands out again, or you can bring your arms behind you. And we're just resting here to catch our breath and to feel the beautiful release of our body as it incorporates and tabulates all of the beautiful movements we've done today. And it reconfigures itself, ready for whatever may follow. Now we're going to just move onto our back. Or we can do a little bit of Dandasana here, stretching our feet forward. And we can use our strap if we like. Sometimes that's very helpful. We can also, for many of us, it's difficult to put our feet forward like that. So we need to raise our hips a bit. This means that if we have stiffer hips, it helps us. And so we're raising our hips up a little bit. And we are sitting up straight with the soles of our feet, with the energy pressing the balls of our feet and our heels. And we feel like the puppet string coming up. We can raise our arms up if we like. Feel that energy here, the strength of our body. We can drop our arms down. Now you can use a strap here around the balls of your feet or the arches of your feet. I think the balls of your feet are better. And you can just extend yourself forward here with this strap. If you are a bit more limber, you can hold onto your toes or the outside of your feet, and you can stretch forward here, and you can round over your body, over your legs. You could do, if you look at BKS Iyengar's Light on Yoga, he has many iterations of this. Over time, you can extend your hands out and clasp your wrists underneath your feet. So there's lots of movement to go to develop in this posture over time. So the movement here is as much out and elongating as it is down. And then you could just roll up when you're ready. And there are many variations here. You can bring your right leg in, like the tree pose that we did before. We're just reiterating the tree pose. There's a little bit of an echo, a repetition in this. And then we're going to twist a little bit over, in this case, my right leg is in, my left leg is extended, and I'm just extending myself out along my left leg and holding on to the outer side of my foot. Once again, you don't have to do that. You can just hold on to your strap, and it gives you a lovely little twist here. And now I'm just extending down here and resting, breathing, feeling gravity do some of the work. And now I'm going to lift up, and I'm going to bring my left knee into that tree pose, and I'm going to subtly twist my torso towards the right. I can use the strap again if I like, and move down over top of our leg. And I'm coming up again. And I'm going to put my feet together here and just do a little bit of cobbler's pose and feel the, this in yin yoga is called butterfly pose. In hatha yoga, it's cobbler's pose, because this is the way shoemakers would make their shoes. So I did my genealogy, and my great-great-grandfather George Davis was actually a cobbler, a shoemaker in London in the 1800s. I'm not sure he sat in cobbler's pose, but I think of him when I'm in cobbler's pose. And we can just subtly open up our inner groin here. You don't need to do it too. Okay, now we're going to move on to our back. We've only got 2 postures to do in our class now. So we're heading into the I guess 2 or 3. So we're moving on to bridge. we're just rolling down with bent knees. And here we are in bridge. In preparation for bridge, we've got our knees bent. Our hands are extended beside us. You could hold on to the outer edge of your mat if you like. Or you can just tilt your tailbone up and then tilt it down to the floor. And we'll do that a few more times just to exercise our tailbone and our lower back to make sure that they're in the right position. Tilting it up and then moving it down. And on this one, we're going to go all the way up, tilting our tailbone, pressing it up towards the ceiling, pressing our knees towards the opposite wall. We can work our shoulders under our body with holding onto the mat, or we can clasp our hands and really extend our chest up this way and our groin. And we're breathing here, feeling the openness of our chest. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling this beautiful day, this moment together, this commitment to our mat, and exhaling whatever it is that's bothering us. Then we're extending our arms down and rolling down. Here we are going to just bring our knees into our chest and roll back and forth a little. And we're going to go back into the little twist that we did at the beginning. And this will help us prepare for our final relaxation. We'll put our feet down on the ground. We'll lift our hips up and shift them towards the right and drop our knees towards the left. Now, this can be the fullness of this posture for you, or if you like, you can lift your right leg up and catch it underneath your left so that it provides a little more torque to move to twist your spine a little bit more. So it's very, it's just a variation. You don't have to do this. And you can look towards the opposite arm. You keep both arms on the ground. And with your back hand, you can move it like the second hand of a clock. If there are sticky points with your shoulders, you can rest there. If it's painful, just lift your arm up over the floor until you can set it down again and move it towards the other hand. And once again, make that round about all the way back. So I have a bit of a sticky point about 11 o'clock in my shoulder. So I'm just going to rest it here for a moment. It's not painful. It's just a bit of stickiness. And then I can move around again. So all of our bodies are different, and we'll find our right side is different from our left. So anticipate nothing, just go with the flow of what you experience in your body. And now we're going to just move our legs back, our feet back onto the floor, our knees bent, shift our hips back, and feel once again the weight of our body in the center of the mat and center of our hips are equally distributed. I find it, that stretch really does something to my hips, so I feel a real difference in how I'm actually on the floor. So I'm going to, in this case, you can either lift your hips up and drop your legs to one side, or you can lift one leg out. I'm lifting my right leg up, bending my knee over my left leg, and then shifting my hips and dropping them down to the ground here on this side, and extending my arms out to the side and looking to the opposite way. This is actually quite an intense stretch. It stretches the outer glutes, and it's a good complement to the movements we did earlier. And it's a shape that our body recognizes because we have done some twists in the class already. And once again, I'm going to use the hand that's opposite to where our knees drop, and I'm going to use it as a second hand and move it around to reach the other hand. And if there's any pain, You can lift your hand up over top of the floor and drop it down to where it's less painful. I don't have any pain, but I do have it once again, a sticky spot about 11 o'clock. And I'm just going to rest my hand here for a few moments. And I'm moving back towards the outstretched hand. And back one more time. And now we're moving back to the center of our mat. And I'm lifting both my knees up. And I'm going to just reach my hands inside and grab the outer edge of my feet and just jiggle my feet in happy baby pose. I find this is really helpful in just generating relaxation in my body. And you can just rest here in happy baby or however you like. And I'm now going to I'm going to put my feet on the floor. You can put your feet up a wall if you like. You can extend your legs up the wall, and this is a lovely inversion. If you like, in final relaxation, you could curl up in a little fetal position. You could move onto your stomach. There's no right way to do final relaxation. Some people love Shavasana or corpse pose, others don't. I'm going to move into Shavasana by just extending my legs out. And I'm going to just imagine myself floating in space. I'm going to read a poem by P.K. Page in a moment, and you can just let that drift into and out of your consciousness. But for the moment, I am just resting here, feeling a deep relaxation. If you like, you can stretch your fingers and toes out, and then just let them go and relax. You can lift your shoulders up and let them go. You can lift your hips up and let it go. You can turn your head from side to side. And now I'm just going to be silent for a few moments, and then I'll read a poem, and you can just let that sift through your consciousness. P.K. Page, My Chosen Landscape. I am a continent of violated geography, yet still I journey to this naked country to seek a form which dances in the sand. This is my chosen landscape. Gwendolyn McEwen. P.K. Page writes on, Sand dunes, interminable deserts, burning winds, the night temperatures bitter, a land of grit, and floating above me, stars as violent as fire balloons, tactile and brilliant, the all-enveloping sky, a cloak of soot. This is my story, my brief biography, the sum total of my experience. I travel, a compass useless in my useless hand, through a sandscape, a singular topography. I am a continent. Restless in all this emptiness, I seek a fellow traveler, search for a sign, a secret handshake, a phrase, some unusual color like periwinkle, for instance, or bright citrine. But the monotony of sand persists, and nothing improbable finds entry into the appalling platitudes of speech, the lingua franca of everyone I meet, in this land devoid of flags and pageantry. Yet still I journey to this naked country, for something in its nakedness has a beauty so pure it's as if I thrust a blade into my immaculate flesh and drew it forth without a drop of blood being spilled. It is abstract and invisible as air, this empty geometry, this ampersand upon ampersand that leads me on as if I were zero or the minus sign. So we can all sit up, we can stretch out, we can move towards a seated position. We can stretch our arms up like Habiba and move from side to side. We can stretch our arms out and feel a really big smile move into our face and move into our cheeks, into our eyes, into our forehead, across our scalp, down our back. The smile is moving down our back and out into our legs, into our hands. Our hands are smiling, our feet are smiling, we're stretching, and we're saying good morning to everyone. Good morning. Thank you for being with me this morning. You're my teacher, just as I am yours. We're interminable students. Namaste.